second. All right. Can everyone see the screen okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. Perfect. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I know it's an early start to your day, so appreciate you joining me for a little bit while I walk you
Full
through
screen.
Brisk.
See, how do I do? Where's the full screen? Yeah. Oh, there it was.
Okay. We good?
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, cool. So I'm excited to walk you through Brisk. I'm just going to start kind of at the very beginning, give you an introduction, and then walk you through the core pathways within Brisk. You should already have access to all of the things that I'm going to walk you through today. However, if you notice anything or need any help, I'm going to throw my email in the chat, but just know that it is Paige at PAIGE at briskteaching.com. So do feel free to shoot me an email. But let's dive in. So, Brisk is an AI powered Chrome extension that is going to integrate into your current workflow and allow you to leverage AI from right within all the places you're already working. Now, to leverage Brisk, you obviously have to have it installed. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how you can do that if you haven't done so already. So you'll notice these bright green buttons here that say add to Chrome for free. On our website, you can click on these. You can also just go straight to the Chrome store and you will see this button here that yours will say add to Chrome. Once you have Brisk added, you do want to come to your extension bar here and just make sure that beside the Brisk teaching extension that you have a blue push pin. This is just going to pin Brisk to make sure that it's going to show up in all the places that I'm going to walk you through. So where will you be able to find Brisk? For example, you will find Brisk on websites. So this is an article here that I found about bringing back California's redwood forests. Let's say that you are in your science class, maybe covering ecology, or you're talking about forest ecosystems, or maybe just how to take care of your environment. And so you find this great text, but when you start looking at it, you're really quite unsure about the reading level. When you open your Brisk menu, you're going to notice that there are 6 core pathways here that you can go down, one of these being change level. I'm going to click on change level because this is going to tell me the reading level of the text that I'm looking at. So you can see this is coming in at a 9th grade level. And then what I can also do here is if I have any students that need this at a different reading level, I can quickly level the text. So in this case, let's say that I need this at a 7th grade level. I'm going to make that adjustment. And then if you have any English learners you want to support, you can also very easily in this language drop down, choose from over 40 different languages to level and translate at the same time. Once you've made those selections, you can click on this change reading level button, and then Brisk is going to open a new tab right here for you in a Google Doc and create that leveled and translated version if you've chosen a different language. And I'm doing this from a website, but you can also use this to level any text that you have in a PDF, that you have in a Google Doc. You can even open your digital textbooks and level text from right within the textbook itself. And then what you'll notice as well, I'm going to hit stop generating here for our sake, but you will notice that across Brisk, you're going to have access to this pop-up menu that will allow you to further customize what you've generated. So as a former educator, I love this because oftentimes the first go at something isn't exactly what you're looking for, but also just thinking about our general classroom materials, oftentimes they are more generic and not customized to our particular learners. So this gives you the opportunity to make some quick changes, but also come to this dialog box and request very specific things. Like if you wanted Brisk to rewrite this and include 10 words from a unit that you're covering, or if you wanted Brisk to rewrite and maybe you're like working on compound complex sentences and you wanted to add some of those in, whatever it might be. Or if you have a student that has an accommodation and they need the text to be written out in separate sections with headers, like you can ask for all of these things. Once you have gotten the text exactly how you want it, you'll also notice that Brisk surfaces add-ons. These are items that may pair well nicely with what you've just generated. So in this case, let's say I want to add on a comprehension quiz. I'm going to bump that grade level back to 9th grade here. And I want to highlight the standards option. So what's really nice about Brisk is as you're generating, you can make sure that what you're generating is standards aligned. So you can click on that standards box. And if this were for something for your AP class, you could select from these AP standards. You can also come down to the state of Utah here, and you will find the language arts, math, science, and social studies standards. We also have the WIDA standards here as well. So really a whole host of academic standards that Brisk can align with. If you tag standards, they'll just pop up down here for you. With the quiz, I can then choose my question type. You'll see there's 3 different types of questions here. And I can also do up to 20 questions at a time. I'm going to just choose 4 here. And then I can generate this quiz right here in the Google Doc or straight into a Google form. Both formats are going to have the answer key pre-embedded for me. It's more a matter of where you're actually going to use this. And so if you were going to print it, maybe you would do that Google Doc. If you're going to share it digitally, maybe you would do this Google form. And you can see the answer is already here and it's already set up for as a quiz for me. Now, you'll also notice that you can quickly add on short response and long response questions in addition to multiple choice here. And I want to call out this Boost It button. I'm not going to click on this yet, but want to call out that it will appear on this menu as well as a shortcut. And I'm going to dive into what the Boost It button will do here very soon. I'm going to come back to the website and just kind of summarize that we started from a website, we changed the reading level of the text, and then we added on a quiz. From a website as well, I can also access the Create menu. The Create menu can be accessed from a website. You can upload a PDF right here in this paperclip icon to access the Create menu. It will also work, again, from right within your textbooks also. You'll also find that Create will work right from within YouTube. So this is a YouTube video here on algebra basics. What is algebra? Let's say that I want to create some resources to use this video with my students. I'm going to come to this Create menu. And what you'll see here is there are many different resources and materials that I can generate to accompany this video. So that might be a quiz like we just walked through. I could do math word problems. I could do a math spiral review. I could create a resource for my students or guided notes to go with the video, maybe even a sub plan. In this case, let's say I want to create a slide deck to really introduce this topic to my students. And let's say I want this for my 10th graders. I'm going to choose 4 slides here. Again, if you have math standards that you want to tag, you can come to the standards option, go to that Utah section and tag any of those standards. And then I also want to highlight this prompt history option. What this allows you to do is access any of the prompts that you've been using in Brisk. So if you craft that perfect prompt and you want to use it over and over again, or just modify off of the same one, you will always have them here. You can search for them as well. And then Brisk will update it right here in the prompt box. In this case, I'm going to move forward. And the next thing I can do is choose a template. So there are several Brisk templates here, but you can also do no formatting and then add your own. In this case, I'm going to choose the math template. And then when I Brisk it, again, Brisk is going to open a new tab and generate this right where I'm going to use it. So it's going to directly open Google Slides. It's going to pull out a title slide for me and then the content slides for me here as well. And all of this is based on that YouTube video and also any additional information like those standards that I might have added to further customize. Now, in this case, on this pop-up menu, you will notice there are options like add more slides, create a resource, create a quiz, but I am going to dive into this Boost It button now. So again, the shortcut is here, but you can also access the Boost It right here on the main menu from this Boost Student Activity button. What this does is it allows you to turn any resource that you've generated or that you already have on hand. So think Google Slides, YouTube videos, websites, a unit from your textbook, a Google Doc, a PDF. When you click on Boost Student Activity, it's going to give you a set of activity types to choose from based on what your goal might be. So you could engage students through a tutor experience, through a character chat, through a brainstorming activity, through real world math application. You can also assess learning through a quick pulse check or an exit ticket here. coming soon, we're also going to have write and reflect support as well. These are going to be really neat because what these will allow you to do is boost an assignment, and then Brisk will create a Google Doc for every single student. They can then work on their activity, and then they're going to have this boost support right beside it. In this case, this is math. I'm introducing algebra. Let's say I want to do real world math and just help my students understand how this might be applicable to their lives outside the classroom. Again, you have the standards, and I will also highlight that this language menu is across Brisk. So anything, including these student activities, can always be set up in any of those languages as well. When I click on next here, this is going to bring me to the boost activity space, and it's going to create this customized activity. So before I share it out with my students, I can dive in here to preview and edit and make sure that it is 100% ready to go. What you'll notice about this, different from other AI assisted activities for students, is in this case, the entire activity is tailored to that resource that you've boosted and the learning objectives here. So little room for hallucinations or off-topic conversations. And also it's going to be a very tailored and timed experience. So students will also feel a sense of accomplishment. They will be able to track their progress and see when the activity will end. Now, students will be able to interact with the resource. You can see I can move through this slide deck here on the left, but you can modify this. If you don't want students to have access to the resource, you can remove it, but the entire activity will still revolve around that resource. You can bring it back. You can also edit the title here if you would like. In these learning objectives, you can also come in if you say, okay, I want to change some of these, you can come in and do that. You can also edit the role here that you would like Boost to have with your students. So there's one drafted for you to get you started, but you can add as many specific details here as you would like to really tailor this to your class. You can also interact as a student to see what this experience would look like. So you can see here, for example, Boost is going to get us started. Let's dive into a math word problem. A store sells notebooks for $3 each and pens for $2 each. If you buy a total of 10 items and spend 24, how many notebooks and pens did you buy? What do you think is the first step to solving this problem? And I might say, putting together an equation to identify the variables to solve for. And you'll notice there is text to speech and speech to text here as well. And so here you'll see Boost is going to be encouraging, great start. How would you set up your equations based on the information? And I might say there are 3 pens. Or maybe let's say, I don't actually know. Can you help me to give you an example of how Boost is going to tailor this conversation around every single student's needs? So in this case, you can see Boost is not going to give me the answer, but it is going to say, okay, let's think about what I want to represent with my variables. If you let the N be the number of notebooks and the P the number of pens, how would you express this? And so the nice thing about Boost is it really is going to break this down for every student, give them that real-time, just-in-time support when and where they need it. And as they move along, once you share this with your students, you're going to be able to monitor this progress in real time. So you can have students scan a QR code, you can have them join via a link and put in the code here. You can also share a link with them. And then what you'll notice on this dashboard is you're going to be able to see for every student if they've started the activity or not. But what I love is this progress. So for every learning objective, you're going to be able to see where your students are at. So as students engage here, these will go from gray, which is no progress, to yellow, some progress. Yes, please join and play with this. I would love for you guys to join. So if you want to scan that code, please go for it. You'll be able to see as students interact here that these will change again from gray to yellow to green, and then you'll get these really high level actionable insights that will help you then tailor your targeted instruction. The other thing that you'll notice is you can view students' chats here. So there's full transparency. You can come in and see this. You can also download students' chats if you need to. And then you'll be able to see all of your activities in this My Activity space. So you can organize these by classes here. And then you can also share templates with colleagues. So if you want to share those, you can. You can also duplicate for yourself if you have multiple sections of the same class. So again, these are the boost activities, and you can start from any resource. So that could be a YouTube video. In our case, we boosted this slide deck. It could be a Google form, a PDF, really anything that you can open in your browser, you can boost it into an activity for students. Now, I do want to highlight on that create menu as well that not only can you create from existing sources of information or resources, but you can also create from scratch from within a blank Google Doc. So I've come to a blank Google Doc. I can come to this create menu. Any of these curriculum essentials I can generate, but I can also generate administrative tasks. So things like emails, newsletters, letters of recommendation. I imagine many of you are writing these as your students are applying for universities or jobs. And then also you have intervention support. So things like IEP goal plans, MTSS plan and template, and a 504. So again, all of these are right in that create menu. Now, in addition to helping you differentiate and create, Brisk can also support you in the grading and revision process. How does it do that? When you come to a piece of student work, this could be for any subject. So this is an essay here that might come from like an English class, but imagine this were a social studies essay, or it might be a science lab report, or it might be something about like a statistics narrative for math. Anything that students have written, you can use this feature on. So you would open the piece of student work, come to this give feedback option here, and you have 4 styles of feedback that you can choose from to generate right in the student's work. In this case, I'm going to show you targeted. This is probably our most popular. You can choose your grade level. Again, you have the standards here as well, but you can also upload a custom rubric. So I'm actually going to grab a quick rubric here. And then Brisk is going to align with those standards with that rubric. Or if you input, for example, I might say, keep the feedback language short and simple, use 1 sentence per each comment. And then I'm going to Brisk it. And what's going to happen is Brisk is going to draft inline embedded Google Doc comments throughout the student's work here. You'll notice I already had a comment, and that's fine. Brisk is just going to work around that. So you can continue to add your own comments before and after this as well. And I mentioned that these were drafted because you can also come and edit every single one of these before students see them. So this is only visible to you. And then only when you click on that comment button is that then going to show up for students on their end. Now, when I was an English teacher, something that I was consistently thinking about as I was giving feedback was, what does this mean for my whole class? Like, what am I going to take out of this individual feedback to inform how I'm moving forward in writing skills development in my class? Brisk can also help with that by surfacing insights. So as you're giving feedback, you can come to this bar chart icon on the main menu, and this is going to highlight for you where your students are excelling and where your students could continue to grow based on the feedback that has been generated here. You'll notice for each of these, there's a little blurb that kind of explains what this means. And then also these buttons that will quickly allow you to generate a lesson plan, a quiz, or a resource to work on these areas with your students. As you move through different assignments or different classes, you can always clear the insights to get new ones for that new assignment or that new class. Now, this is from a teacher side, but you also have the ability to set up the student extension, so this little teal one here, so that students can request feedback during the writing process themselves as well. So something that I remember being a real struggle was when I had students actively working on writing during class, or they were doing writing assignments outside of class time, is there were all of these questions and I just couldn't get to every student at the same time. What this allows you to do is say, hey, I'm going to move around and talk to you guys and give you that teacher support. But in the meantime, generate this feedback with Boost so that you can continue working while I make my way around to answer your specific questions. And so what this is going to allow the student to do is either upload the rubric themselves or input the prompt, or you can set these parameters and pre-upload the rubric for the student here. In either case, once the student is ready, they can click on this Give Me Feedback button, And this is going to generate inline feedback similar to that generated by the teacher, but now you're going to notice these agree and disagree buttons. And so what this is really doing is making sure that the student isn't just resolving the comment and moving on, but they're actually taking the time to critically think about this feedback. So let's say, for example, I come to this organization comment and I say, yeah, I agree with this. I have to pause and think, okay, yes, I agreed with this. What did I do to actually show that I agreed with this? What changes did I make to reflect my agreement with the comment? Same thing if I disagree. Why did I disagree with this particular comment? So we want students to have that agency, but we do want them to be thinking critically about how they're incorporating this feedback. As a teacher, you can see all of the information. So you can see the feedback and how students interacted. You can do that in one of two ways. One way is through coming to the main menu and this Manage Student Extension button here. This is where you can see all of your classes. You can also, the first time that you have students use the extension, share this class link so that they're also in this section here. Now, these classes will be the same as your classes and Boost activities. The only thing you'll need to do is share this link one time so that students are not only in the Boost activities, but also in the extension section of that class. You'll also notice the column here where you can upload a rubric to tailor the feedback for that class. And then when you click on each class, you can see the students here. You can see how many times they've requested feedback, and you can see where they've requested feedback. You can click on that hyperlink. Once you come to the student's work on your Brisk menu, click on this dialogue icon, and this is going to surface that feedback for you. So you can see where they've agreed and disagreed and their responses here. Now, if you are opening students' work and you are not coming to this menu, the simple fact that this icon appears will indicate that the student has used the Boost extension, and then you can come directly here to see that feedback as well. So there's two ways. If you want that class level overview, you can come here. If you just want to go straight to that feedback, you can just click on this dialogue icon. The last thing that I want to highlight for you is this inspect writing flow. And what this allows you to do is if there is ever a moment where you're like, there's a little something wonky about a piece of student work, or you're just unsure about what might have happened and you want some greater visibility, you can come to the inspect writing feature to get greater visibility into that process. So this is going to surface for you a replay of exactly how and when the student constructed their work. You can also see on this progress bar down here, moments of copy paste. It's going to show you when they happened and what was pasted in. You can also see moments of feedback. This will surface moments of feedback from you as the teacher, but also if the student requests feedback through the student extension. And then at the end of the recording, you will also see the total number of large copy paste events and this editing time, which is based on active keystrokes, not just how long the student had this open on their computer. But I do want to take a moment to pause. I know we've got about 5 more minutes, and I want to make sure if there are any burning questions that I have time to walk through those, or if there's anything that I highlighted but didn't dive into that would be helpful to walk through. So Alexis, if you want to field any questions that anyone has, happy to run through any of those right now.
Does anyone have anything?
Just a quick question. I know you include the psychology national standards since we don't have a Utah one.
Yeah. Do they include the psychology national standards? Do you know?
We do not have those, but I'm happy to pass that along to my team. Let me make a note. Those are the national psychology standards.
Yeah, because there's not a Utah core for those.
Perfect. I know that there are AP psychology standards in there, but I will add that to our list. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's 2 separate.
Okay, yeah, they're two different things. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So for the inspect writing, they have to have the course, like so we already have to in language like this. No. License?
Yes.
Or like integrating in Canvas later.
We are already there. Let me show you. Let me log in here. So I'm actually going to show you. So there are lots of things that you can do within Canvas. So let me come to a test assignment here. So what you'll notice is Brisk will show up. It is integrated with SpeedGrader here. And so you can do a whole host of things, including generate feedback. So if I wanted to generate feedback here, I could say give feedback on coherency of ideas. And I could upload that rubric standards. All of that is still there as well. What it's going to do is generate into this little dialog box for you. And then what you can do is once it's generated, you just click on this copy all. You come here to this little space, you paste it in, and then it is posted for the student in that nice little format. Does that answer the question about Canvas?
Tanner has one.
Use the level for reading of the canvas, and it didn't do it. I had to upload it separately. So it was working on SpeedGrader.
Do you know how it works outside of SpeedGrader? Like someone tried to change a level on a text and he had to upload the document before it would change the level.
So it should work if you have a resource that you've uploaded to Canvas. You should be able to open the resource right there and change level. If you notice that it is not picking up the information, something you can do is highlight the text like I'm doing here. And you'll notice that Brisk says selected text, and then you can click on change level. So try that as a workaround. You shouldn't have to upload the file. You should be able to do it from right within Canvas. But if you try selected text and that still doesn't work, shoot me an email and I'm happy to share that with my team to figure out what might be going on in your case.
Yeah, if we have some questions or help, then are we okay to reach out to, are you the contact point? Should we reach out to someone else?
No, please reach out to me. I'm going to put my email here on the screen for you guys. No question is silly or too much. So please, any questions that you have, just send them over to paige@briskteaching.com. What I will do today is I will share this recording with Alexis and with Christopher so that you have this on hand. They can share it out with you. I will also mention for anyone that does want to dive in a little deeper on their own as well, if you come to our website, you will notice that every pathway in Brisk has a landing page. So you can dive into each of those pathways here. Also want to highlight that if you come to resources, you will find use cases like Brisk for English, math, science, Google first year administrators, and you'll find our community courses. So we do have 2 certification courses. These are great ways to dive deeper into Brisk as well. They take about 20 minutes each, and you'll also get a little certificate and badge. And I'll also mention, Alexis and everyone in the room, we will be at USET, and I will have 2 sessions where I'm going to focus on Brisk as well. So if you do want to dive in even further, find me in those sessions at USET. But please, in the meantime, any questions, send them my way.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I think we're good on questions then.
All right, wonderful. Have a great Friday, a great weekend, and happy exploring.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.